Coming up tonight, the decentralization process in Cameroon gears up to another decisive phase in 48 hours when regional council executives will be elected. CERAC rehabilitates, equips and hands over to the population the DJOUMTE Integrated Health Unit in the north region of Cameroon. And leisure spots in the country get set to receive customers while respecting COVID-19 barrier measures during end-of-year feasts. The details right now. Thanks for watching the 7:30 news on CRTV. I am MOKI, Edwin KINDZEKA in Yaoundé.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
In about 48 hours as from now, the first sessions as of right of the regional councils will take place in the 10 regions of the country. According to the Electoral Code, it is at that session that the first ever regional executive bureaus will be designated. Ahead of the sessions as of right, Clarice Aretakang revisits the process as from when the electoral colleges were convened through the elections proper and the proclamation of the results.
It was highly awaited and announced on September 7, 2020 by presidential decree. Electoral colleges were convened to the chief towns of each division. The election of regional councillors was to take place on December 6, 2020. Prior to that, the number of regional councillors per division and category was made public. That sets the ball rolling in the courts of political parties who channeled their lists of candidates to Elections Cameroon for scrutiny. 106 lists were submitted by 16 political parties for the category of delegates of division and 111 submitted by first, second, and third class chiefs for representatives of traditional rulers. However, the final running had 14 political parties in the race to get 700 divisional delegates and 200 representatives of traditional rulers elected. The wooing game kicked off nationwide on November 21, 2020. The big day came on December 6, 2020. In 274 polling stations with a voter turnout deemed satisfactory. At the end of the process, 4 parties emerged victorious from the lot: the CPDM, the UNDP, the UDC, and the FSNC. Now awaited the first sessions as of right of Cameroon's pioneer regional councillors to take place on December 22, 2020.
The DJOUMTE Integrated Health Unit in Faro and Deo Division has been rehabilitated and equipped by the Circle of Friends of Cameroon CERAC. The ceremony to hand over the health facility was presided over by Mrs. Aminatu Bello Buba, representative of the First Lady of Cameroon, Mrs. Chantal Biya. Details with Wilson Mengole in Garua.
The refurbished DJOUMTE Integrated Health Unit with new state-of-the-art medical equipment will go a long way to improve the living conditions of the population of the locality. According to the representative of the First Lady on the occasion, this humanitarian act of the UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador is a stitch in time to allay the suffering people of Faro who have been longing for such a befitting health facility. Madame Chantal Biya has once again surprised everyone with the rehabilitation and equipment of this hospital, which was part of CERAC's plan of action in 2020. Mrs. Chantal Biya, through her emissary, also handed farming tools to include push trucks, wheelbarrows, machetes, and a host of others to women's agricultural groupings. This to empower the rural women.
Don't know what I am saying to Mama Shantu. Thank you.
Kumpa Issa, Secretary of State for ex-servicemen and war victims, who is an elite of Faro, hailed the First Lady for coming to their assistance. It was a colorful occasion that brought much joy to the population of Faro.
The Director General of the Electricity Development Corporation says there shall be constant power supply to 150 villages in the East region by the end of 2021. During a visit to the East region, Tedon Sangu promised to complete the Lompanga segment to power the villages in 2021. Elizabeth Bombone Agbo reports.
After several months of recess as a result of the effects of the coronavirus, the construction work of the Lompanga food plant is now in full gear. It is in a bid to assess the quality of work done that the Director General of the Electricity Development Corporation descended on the field.
Civil works going very well. The key problem now to check is manufacturing of the main component as a factory in China. This is the main reason we have to check all the first components were already on the field, and we are now very confident that we will be on the way to reach the target.
This project, which comprises three components, that is the implantation of the power food plant, the installation of the high voltage line, and the electrification of some 150 villages, is said to be on a good footing with a 40 to 45% coverage. The Director General of the Electricity Development Corporation reassures the population of the East region of an eminent electricity supply.
Before end of 2021 or first quarter 2022, the East region will be hydroelectric power plant energy surely.
Alongside electricity, the Lompanga project has equally brought about lots of social amenities to the people of the East region.
Tomato and watermelon farmers in the West region are now poised to step up production despite the heavy toll of COVID-19. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Bairobe, has handed to them farm inputs and as government support. The minister was in Fumbot and in Bangante recently, as Hanan Jong reports.
Here at this vast 150-hectare tomato farm in Fumbot, where the minister made his first stop, the intensity of tomato farming in the subdivision was already glaring. At the Food Crop Farmers Cooperative Head Office, Koprovinun, the minister handed over a heavy consignment of farm inputs to the farmers hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic.
I'm here to make them know that the government will support them with improved seed, with fertilizer, with sprayer tools, and with motor pump.
Amongst the many good tidings was that of the creation of a mega sub-regional market in Fumbot. In a similar vein, Bangante tomato and watermelon farmers also tasted of the fatherly love of President Paul Biya. The beneficiaries were full of thanks.
Very happy for what the head of state has done to us.
In the sidelines, the board chair and his assistant of the West Union of Farmers Cooperatives, UCAO, plus other top-ranking officials were elected and installed under the supervision of the minister.
Proprietors of leisure sports have begun preparing the arrival of kids at different merry-go-rounds as the world expects the anniversary of the birth of Jesus Christ. Owners attest appropriate sanitary measures have been taken to keep at bay the COVID-19 pandemic when children come feasting. Roman Kenya reports.
At this leisure ground in the Ahala neighborhood, all dispositions to welcome visitors, especially youngsters, during this festive period are assumed intact. While there has been a significant increase in space reserved for entertainment, it is believed the different merry-go-rounds would not be congested this time, as it was the case in the years.
When they get inside this place, first of all, we invited parents and children to wash their hands.
No toys for children have been bought and are being shipped into the country, officials claim. They, however, express no worry vis-a-vis sanitary canons.
I choose this place because I know it's less congested compared to other areas.
As a concerted effort to ensuring a hitch-free holiday for kids, owners of these places are encouraging guardians to strictly obey measures taken for the well-being of their offsprings.
The festive season is here, therefore, and it is period many civilians go in search of recreational sports and or sports for themselves and their family members. One of such spots in Yaoundé is the Parc Kirakides in the heart of the city. The variety of offers for children is making Kiriakides a hot spot. Cynthia Saptola was there.
On entry, it seems to be the ideal spot for children this Christmas holiday. With a variety of bouncing castles, carousels, and seesaws, there are also multiple exhibition stands with toys, dresses, shoes to make the little visitors excited.
I want a bicycle this Christmas.
The park in question does exist for years around the Rue Sepen neighborhood in Yaoundé. Though the location seemed discreet, the manager of the area say there is also a mini zoo, horse riding, and other activities for adults. It is one of the few areas providing recreational activities this Christmas in Yaoundé, hopefully under continuous respect of COVID-19 barrier measures.
The Bankong Barombi people who are from parts of the littoral and southwest regions have embarked on a proximity unity after decades of separation by colonialism. They have set up a project called Mwapoho to enhance their common culture. Gladys Atemba Chechuma Banda reports from Douala.
On the banks of the Fako River in the Mongo Division, the traditional rulers of the 52 villages of the Bankong Barombi people perform cultural rites to foster unity after years of colonial orchestrated geographical division in the littoral and southwest regions. Ancestral blessings are solicited to sustain the unity project spearheaded for several years by the deceased traditional ruler Ngong Prizo and Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute. The cultural exhibitions manifested through traditional dances and ritual performances go beyond the unity factor for the Bankong Barombi people to a quest for peaceful coexistence in Cameroon. The Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, one of the architects of the unity move, was represented by Mr. Mboko Godlieve Tue.
A hand of fellowship has been extended by an association of sons and daughters of the northwest and southwest regions to some underprivileged children from all over Cameroon. The colorful event was chaired by the association's president, Kwayep Biada Gislain, in the presence of some dignitaries. Victor Siga reports.
It was a pre-Christmas feast for these underprivileged children who hail from the 10 regions. By this move, members of the Federal Association of Great West have put smiles on their faces.
We are here today to put a smile on the faces of IDP children so that they should know that there are people who are thinking about them.
With the gifts, songs and dances, the underprivileged children had a memorable time.
We intend to organize workshops to train women, young girls on economic activities. We intend to put a smile on the faces of orphans, of widows.
The donation is part of the Christmas tree program of this association, which has made the plight of the less privileged their concern.
Pupils and students in Lolodorf Ocean Division of the South Region who excelled in 2019-2020 academic year have been awarded prizes. The prizes were given to them yesterday in Lolodorf by an association called TARA in collaboration with the movement known as 11 Million Citizens, whose coordinator is Honorable Cabral Libi. We have details with the Beneza Akanga.
More than 100 pupils and students in Lolodorf subdivision received prizes at the ceremony. The prizes included textbooks, exercise books, and school bags. They were offered by an association called TARA in collaboration with the movement known as 11 Million Citizens, whose coordinator is Honorable Cabral Libi, President of the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation, PCRN. Apart from the prize award, the ceremony was also used to sensitize the pupils and students on the negative effects of drug consumption. Presiding over the prize award ceremony, the divisional officer of Lolodorf praised the association TARA for promoting education in the subdivision.
I'm appealing to the other elites who have the possibilities to give some awards to our children to not reserve everything for themselves.
This is the second time that the association has offered prizes to best pupils and students in Lolodorf subdivision.
4 accidents in one night, leaving 1 person dead and several injured on the Yaoundé-Douala Highway. The National Gendarmerie Road Safety Task Force says this must stop as activities hot up for the end-of-year feast with more people prepared to travel. Kylian Dandifon has the rest of that story.
Friday night breaking Saturday, December 19, night of accidents on the Yaoundé-Douala Highway. Makoda, 70 kilometers from Yaoundé, the 70-seater interurban commuter on a wild and straight stretch skids off to the bush, leaving 1 person dead and several injured. First investigation says it is human error, that is fatigue. On the same road, same night, after Bomyepel, the truck carrying cocos lifts off its track to the bush. No dead, but bad signal, similar cause, fatigue and speed. Further away, Andupe, same night, towards Douala, all 3 occupants of this car are saved by airbags. The National Gendarmerie Road Safety Task Force has this advice.
Do not need to take alcohol or any kind of drugs before entering the vehicle, and they should respect the speed authorized on the road.
Any road user who does not heed this advice meets the repressive hand of the National Gendarmerie Road Safety Task Force.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
Our tour to the different regions on our COVID-19 updates slot takes us to the northwest region of the country. Bodin Sama and his guest Dr. Ambe Lionel Neba will size up efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19 in the northwest region. And Bodin, hello Bodin.
Good evening to you, MOKI Edwin KINDZEKA. Tonight we take you over to the northwest region of Cameroon to see at what level they are with the ongoing fight against the coronavirus. As our guest is Dr. Ambe Lionel Neba. He is the Deputy Incident Manager at the Northwest Regional Delegation for Public Health. Dr. Lionel Ambe Neba, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Badwin.
Tell us, where are we today in the northwest region of Cameroon with regards to the ongoing fight against the coronavirus?
Thank you, Mr. Badwin. With respect to where we are today in the fight against COVID-19 in the northwest region, we could say the trend in the evolution of COVID-19 in the northwest region has been quite similar to the national trend, with a peak during the 2020, followed by a gradual decline in the number of cases. So far, the region has recorded a total of 973 positive cases with 885 recoveries. We have recorded 75 deaths, and presently, as we are talking, we have 13 active cases, with all of them being managed at home. We plan to intensify testing for COVID-19 in the weeks ahead with the support from the World Health Organization. So that is where we are with the fight against COVID-19 in the northwest region.
And finally, what's the response from the population with regards to the strict respect of barrier measures?
Thank you, Mr. Badwin. At some point in the evolution of this pandemic, the population of the Northwest region was making quite some effort in respecting the barrier measures. Today, a majority of people don't put on face masks. People are not more systematically using hand sanitizers, nor washing their hands with soap and running water. Talk less of social distancing. This is very disturbing, as having a second wave of this pandemic is not an impossibility. To improve health sector in the region is working very closely with the regional delegation of communication so as to intensify sensitization on COVID-19 and emphasize the absolute need to respect these barrier measures. Thank you, Mr. Badwin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ambela Uneneba. You are the Deputy Incident Manager at the Northwest Regional Delegation of Public Health. MOKI Edwin KINDZEKA, that's the situation in that part of the country. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Bodwin Sava. 13 active cases in the Northwest region. That is just too much. We hope the people are going to take barrier measures imposed by the government of the Republic. Now, the Mevio Cultural and Development Assembly, MEVCUDA in Limbe, has celebrated its 7th Cultural Festival under the theme, Let There Be Peace. The Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Lyonga, and the Governor of the Southwest Region, Bernardo Kalia Bilai, attended the festival. Tanjong Levis Agbo reports.
From different communities in the Southwest region and beyond, they came together to valorize and enjoy their rich cultural patrimony. From administrative officials to traditional rulers, their messages were clear: that of peace, a spirit of solidarity and consolidation of living together regardless ethnic differences. The governor of the Southwest region, Bernardo Kalia Bilai, reiterated that for any meaningful and sustainable development, there must be peace as preached by the head of state.
The theme of this year, this edition, was peace. Let peace reign. For peace to reign, the chiefs and their populations should denounce criminals, those who are moving with weapons to kill. Those who kill the chief of Bolifamba did not fall from heaven. They are living with the people. Let them denounce them.
The Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Lyonga, equally called for synergy between chiefs in the region to promote the agenda of reconciliation. The chair of the MEVCUDA Organizing Committee, Chief Ndiko Funderson Henry, said the Cultural and Development Assembly is geared towards development and cultural manifestations.
You yourself, you saw the materials that have been donated by the Ministry of Agriculture. We cannot talk about assemblies in this period when we know that our country is suffering some broken parts. We should talk about peace. So the theme for this year is Let There Be Peace.
Awards were given to those who emerged winners of the Solidarity Football Tournament.
The CPDM member of the National Assembly for Sanaga Maritime, Honorable Marinette Ngo Yetna, has fulfilled the promise made to her to inform her constituents on the actions taken in the first year of her mandate. She outlined the laws voted and the advocacy made to government to address the plight of the people of the division during an event at the Edea CPDM Party Hall. Esther Kima has the details.
The town of Edea, headquarters of the Sanaga Maritime Division, rich in natural resources, but yet to enjoy the constant supply of energy, potable water, and adequate road infrastructure, like this bridge which threatens lives on a daily basis. Honorable Marinette Ngo Yetna, in her quest for solutions, gives a succinct account of her first year in Parliament.
We have built water points, we have assisted rural women and school children with scholarship.
For the inhabitants, the maiden parliamentary narrative is commendable and worth emulating.
I'm very, 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 very glad to know that she does what we need and what we ask her.
With the support of the elite and traditional rulers, she intends to train the youth and women in ICT and livestock breeding.
200 children of the Nkolngon parish on the outskirts of Yaoundé have been baptized at the Holy Sacraments parish in their locality. The presiding bishop of Obala, His Lordship Sosten Leopold Bayemi, exhorted Christians to be God-fearing as they await Christmas. Details with Beatrice Ngum.
Songs of praise in celebration of God's shepherd on mission here at the Holy Sacrament Parish of Nkolngon in Febe Village. The Bishop of Obala has come to receive some 210 children into the Church of Christ, a purification oath used by the chief celebrant to counsel worshippers and the parents of the newly baptized to be ambassadors of the word.
The necessity of allowing the seed that we have sown today to grow by a fervent Christian life, above all from the parents, the godfather, and the godmother.
Christians of Nkolngon shared the word and also the body of Christ with a reminder that Jesus will be born in a week's time and his coming brings glad tidings to a repentant heart.
The family of the late Wungli Masaga, who was popularly called Commandant Kisimba, has thanked the head of state for authorizing his return from exile in the early 90s and for assisting the family in the burial. The family spoke during his burial yesterday in Lolodov in the South region. Ebenezer Kanga was in Lolodov.
There was an almost endless number of testimonies made at the burial ceremony of Wungli Masaga, who was popularly called Commandant Kisamba. Understandably so, because the life of a man who spent more than 30 years on exile fighting neo-colonialism could not be told in a few words. It came out of the testimonies that Wunli Masaga was a man who fought for what they called the true independence and reunification of Cameroon, as well as the unity of Africa.
He was among the first nationalists. He has shown us that politics is not a job career. Politics is an engagement. And then if you engage yourself in politics, you must sacrifice some of what you have. Family, professional career, that he has done it.
At the burial ceremony of Wunli Masaga in Lolodorf, his family thanked President Paul Biya for authorizing his return to the country from exile in the early 90s and for assistance for his burial. Commandant Kisamba died on October 17, 2020 in Yaoundé at 84 years.
The mortal remains of Buba Suzia, Chief of Service for Programs and News at the CRTV proximity station FM Kuseri, have been laid to rest at his native Gemere in Mayo Danai Division. Amadou Issa, representative of the Director General of CRTV, described the 34-year-old as an exemplary staff before he died. Ayuk John Ashu has the rest of that story.
Inconsolable family members, colleagues, and the entire locality of Gemere in Maodanai division of the Far North region could hardly come to terms with the disappearance of the one who has become a household name and role model to his peers. On behalf of the Director General of the CRTV, his personal representative, Amadou Issa, described the dead 34-year-old Buba Susia as a versatile and exemplary reporter who has served the cooperation with loyal that the staffer quits the stage at the prime of youth. Eulogies by Mr. Sierra Leone and Madame Musa Marandata, former bosses of the deceased, were concordant with that of Saib Abdel Karim, Chief of Station of FM Yagua, that the station has lost a devoted professional. But the broken hearts have been given solace by men of God who described Buba Susia as one who has accomplished his earthly mission and called to rest by the Almighty, with a pious hope that his two children walked in his footsteps as Buba Susia, orphaned from childhood, joins his late parents, Susia Osman and Hawa, in the world beyond, to the consternation of Gemere.
Let's now move on to sports, and precisely in the littoral region, where Cameroonian-born Chon Diforchu has qualified for international bodybuilding competition. The athlete who arrived yesterday from the United States of America came to present his trophy to the Cameroonian people. Let's now listen to his declaration when he arrived in Douala yesterday.
Trophy, I won it in Orlando. This is IFBB Pro, the International Federation of Bodybuilders. I was awarded this for being first place in the 2020 IFBB Pro with multiple competitors. They have very, very, very strong competitors. And in the sport of bodybuilding, you can, in this competition, you can get this. And once you have this trophy, you can compete professionally against the best in the world. So, like I was saying, this is just the first step. And the first step is to become a pro, which is a professional in the sport, and have that status as a pro. Now that I have the status as a pro with this trophy and with the federation, I can compete against the best in the world, and I'm able to do bigger and better things in the sport of bodybuilding.
Cameroon has got talents. Now, security has been stepped up in Limbe that will host Group D matches of the African Nations Championship as from January 16. Baldwin Sama traveled to Limbe, and in continuation of our series ahead of Chan, he sizes up measures taken to ensure law and order during the continental tournament.
It remains a great concern for administrative authorities in the southwest region the need to maintain security before, during and after the upcoming African Nations Championship. Limbe, the town of friendship, has been friendly to all her guests and security has always been guaranteed. There is no need for any worry as measures have been put in place for a safe stay of the different delegations.
We have our forces of law and orders who are as ever ready, have taken all this position day and night. The infrastructure is protected under the coordination of the a senior general officer for FACO division.
Limbe inhabitants live in harmony as a spirit of togetherness prevails as all forms of insecurity have been condemned. This love for peace to prevail will be maintained by the population throughout the competition as the security of the guests will be guaranteed.
And that ends the 7:30 news on CRTV. Meet Atabadino Ma in exactly 30 minutes from now with the news in the French language. Esther Kima will be with you tomorrow. I am MOKI. Edwin KINDZEKA in Yaoundé. Thank you for watching.
Évitons de stigmatiser ceux qui sont atteints par la maladie.